Hey, it's the Ripcord, and today we're going to practice some vector drawing with a banner like this. And as if you may have drawn one of these before, you might have realized it's a little more difficult because it's not one shape. It's a combination of a couple of different shapes. So I'll show you how I might reproduce this as a vector. I'll start by turning on my grid so I can sort of match it. Now, you could trace this with your Bezier tool, and ordinarily I would do it that way, but just for this exercise we're going to try and draw it by looking at it and drawing it down here. So it's not going to be exact, or it might be depending on how skillful you are. But this is how I might go about creating this. And this may not be the best way to do it, but this is a good way to do it, and this is the way I do it. So we'll start by drawing this part here. As you can see, we're going to use the grid roughly. I'm just eyeballing it, so it's not going to be perfect, or it might be depending on how skillful you are. I already know when I do it, it's not going to be perfect. If I want it perfect, I could always go up here and trace it, but for this we're going to draw it by looking at it. So range, I'm going to convert this to curves. I'll apply the envelope tool here. I'm going to get rid of these two nodes. I don't need the top ones, and I don't need the side ones either. And then this looks like it could be a little skinnier. I'll go up here just like this. And that's going to be good enough. I'm going to just pull this up. And I want to pull this up. And that's pretty close. You can always, I thought I converted that to a straight line, but I didn't. Convert this to a straight line. I might have moved that a little bit. Let's put it back on top of itself. And I'm going to sharpen this up just a little bit so that it looks smooth. And I am once again just eyeballing it. These arrows should match, but as you'll see as we go on with this, I'm going to get rid of the right half of it. I'm just going to draw the left half for now. And now we will draw this shape here. And as you can see, we're not going to be able to do it as one shape. I'm going to weld it in a minute, but we're going to start by just drawing it. And we'll start here. We'll go down here. And I'm roughly using the grid for a guideline, so I can, this is how we used to draw in the old days when we couldn't always trace something. We'd have to draw a grid. We'd draw it on clear acetate, and then we would overlay the drawing we were trying to reproduce, and we could get some fairly accurate renditions from that. So we'll do that. Like I said, we're going to shape this out as much as we want later, so this doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to convert all this to a curved line. Zoom in just a little bit. I'll get you back in the frame here. Start shaping this out a little bit. So just go here and here. There we go. Shape it out. You can convert these to smooth nodes when you're satisfied with the shape of it, but for now I'm going to leave it as a cusp. and we'll see if we can change those to smooths and get this shaped out. And that doesn't look half bad. We'll see what that looks like. I'm going to drop it behind. Let's give this a fill so it'll stand out in front of this one. We'll drop that behind, and that looks pretty decent. Not bad at all. Let's move that node a little bit, move this one a little bit. Always use as few nodes as you can. Now here's a sort of a critical part, and we're going to fix this in a minute, but this really needs to follow the curve of this banner, the bottom of the banner. So see if you can get that as close as you can to make it look real. And now what we're going to do is weld this, because I'm satisfied that I've done a good enough job. This isn't going to be perfect, but just for the purpose of this video, we're going to do it that way. And there we go. Now, of course, we need these folds here. So I'm going to do this one first, just about there. I am eyeballing all of this. Put this one here. And this is once again very important that this appears straight, because we're not going to be able to weld this. So from here we need to sort of drive this out here to get it to match. And I'll get this one here. Once again, I'm using my shape tool. See if I can get those lines to look as straight as they can. Get rid of that. That should be straight anyway. Straight. And this really should be a little bit farther down here. And just keep, this is where you have to sort of use gradual movements. Get it to look straight, and we're going to increase the thickness of this line and fix it all up in a minute, but for now we'll leave it right about there. Yeah, let's leave it there. Now I inadvertently changed that to a straight line, so let's shape this back out here. And now I'm going to draw a yellow. Yeah, let's make our lines thick first so we can double check everything. We'll change this to a fatter outline here. And as you can see, I need to work on that edge just a bit more, not a whole lot more, but we'll just to get it nice, we'll get it right here. See if this works. Okay, let's leave it at that. Let me draw myself a box here. I'm going to put it right through those nodes right there. I don't know if you can see them on the video, but that designates the top and the bottom of my curve. I should have drawn it on the other side, so I'm going to mirror it, because I'm going to use that to trim that. So Now I can get rid of that. It's served its purpose. I'm going to grab this whole thing by a marquee select. I'm going to copy it, paste it, and mirror it over here. Then I'm going to weld that. Weld it to this. And then I'm going to get rid of these nodes here. So that'll be smooth. And there we go. I made it a little bit fatter than this one, but otherwise that's a reasonable facsimile, if you will. If I want to, I could get a little more perfect with this. I'm not going to do, yeah, I guess I am. So I'm going to grab those two since those are already sort of parallel, and we'll just sort of move this out here. Move these two out, and I'm grabbing both at once, so and I'll come over here and do that as well. Grab those. Grab these. And anyway, you get the idea. So there we go. That is the banner. As I said, it's not exact. If we wanted it exact, we could have traced this directly over it. But I wanted to practice drawing from scratch, so I didn't do it that way. I just eyeballed it. And if you want this to match perfectly, you can always keep working with it. I think all I need to do is sort of lower that down. There, that's pretty good. You can work with this some more. You can add, of course, you'd want to add your text in here. But that's the way I draw a banner. If you want, you can, to make it a little bit more realistic, you can round these corners off just by adding a couple nodes. Make sure they're cusps. Cusp. And then eliminate that one. And you can sort of, you'll have to zoom in to see what's going on. But you can round it off like this. And this depends what you're doing this for. If it's for a website or something, you'd probably be happy with just the way it is. If it's for an illustration or a t-shirt or something that everybody's going to look at over and over, you might want to do it that way. So that gives it a little bit more of a realistic corner. I'm not going to do all four. You've already seen how I do that. So I'm going to leave it at that. Practice this, have fun with it. Practice it over and over, you'll get faster and faster. Obviously I need to practice more myself, but I hope your next project goes well.